Alright, so I've just gone through my first week of my final year of university. I've been mostly offline for the past few days, so let's see what I missed. A new Nintendo Direct. Alright, let's see. There's some more Wii U games coming to the Switch. There's a new Kirby game that has those super scary free to start words attached to it. There's an actual meme in Smash Bros now, and it looks like the 3DS is clearly dead and 6 feet under. And a new Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer. Or, let's be real, y'all. It's Pokemon, let's go camping! Or, I guess, Pokemon Sword and Shield Pocket Camp. Yeah, let's go with that one. So remember Pokémon-Amie? It was this neat feature in Pokemon X and Y that let you actually play with your Pokemon! Debatably an actually good version of games such as Hey You Pikachu and Pokemon Channel, seeing all the different ways each Pokemon responded to being pet and fed was an absolute treat to experience, or at least it would be if that was your sort of thing. For myself, along with a lot of other Pokemon fans, Pokemon-Amie to me was just a way to get a Sylveon. So Pokemon-Amie would return in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, get some updates, a new name for Gen 7, and kind of sort of appear in the Let's Go games through the ability to play with your main Pikachu or Eevee. I mean, hey, limited but still better than Hey You Pikachu. But you know, here in Gen 8, it looks like Pokemon-Amie is back, but with a camping theme. And when I say it's back, I mean literally. As a Reddit thread was so nice to point out, Game Freak is flat out reusing the now over 6-year-old Pokémon-Amie animations for Pokémon Camping. Remind me why Sword and Shield are twice as expensive as the 3DS games again? Now, reused animations aside, Pokémon Camping looks really fun and cute. Your Pokémon can play with one another. You can play with them. You can visit your friends' camps, hang out with them, maybe even potentially steal their rations and leave them stranded in the middle of the English countryside. The possibilities are endless. Honestly, I really do love the idea of camping while on a Pokemon adventure. It's something that I remember seeing a lot while watching the anime as a kid and being like, yeah, that's cool. I want to go camping with nothing to protect me from dangerous, elemental-based wild creatures except my own team of dangerous, elemental-based wild creatures. To see that actually coming in Sword and Shield makes me feel legitimately excited for these games. That and Poltegeist, which further hammers home what I've been saying about these new games having incredible Pokemon designs. Seriously, like, I'll take 1,000 plushies of the Teapot Ghost, thank you. With that said, I do have some serious concerns here. I'm assuming that visiting player camps will mean I can visit the camps of those on my Nintendo Switch friends list, and despite the cost for Switch Online potentially going up soon, games that actually use Switch Online are often very hit or miss. To be fair, I have the same concerns with online battling and trading, but I do hope that things here work at least as relatively smoothly as in the 3DS games, and not as terribly as Mario Maker 2's co-op online. I'm also curious, will Pokemon Camping be how I evolve my Eevee into a Sylveon? Will Game Freak finally realize that there's nothing wrong with giving old Pokemon new evolution methods and just let us use a stone or something? I legit want to know, as I do absolutely love Sylveon. And speaking of evolutions, we typically get a new one every even-numbered generation. I mean, there's Umbreon and Espeon in Gen 2, Leafeon and Glaceon Gen 4, Sylveon Gen 6, so Game Freak, if you're watching, let me know. When are we getting Dragonion? Back to camping, it looks really fun. I'm legitimately down for this. I'm really excited to play with my friends' Pokemon to hopefully make my camp as best I possibly can, using a minimal amount of leaf tickets. I'm also curious to see if camping will have any practical features in-game, aside from just being a fun side thing to do. For example, as I'm assuming that once again different areas will have different Pokemon depending on the time of day, will camping allow me to fast forward between day and nighttime? Such a thing was possible in the Pokemon Sun and Moon post-game, so I think it'd be cool to see that brought back. Then again, I'd also like to see stuff brought back like the Challenge Mode and World Tournament that were in Black 2 and White 2, and I know Game Freak likely has no intent on ever doing that. Oh, I'm sad now. Anyways, I think it's cool that Sword and Shield are going to let me have a place where I can not only interact with my Pokemon, but see them interact with one another. I think that along with just looking neat, this will also partially satisfy those who want the ability to have Pokemon follow you again return. Aside from needing actual new Pokemon animations, the only thing that could make this better is being able to cook for— oh my god, I can cook curry with my Pokemon! And there's over 100 different types of curry? And a curry dex? You know, this brings up a good question. Are there any curries that actually use Pokemon meat? Will I be able to catch a Tauros and then use it to make some sort of beef curry? Let me know what Pokemon you want to eat down in the comment section below, and while you're at, subscribe to Master Trainer. Remember kids, gotta eat them all. So share this video out, subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday.